Hey guys, so we're gonna try something a little bit different today. Like a speed, oh shit, there he is. Oh, he smoked it. It's a good bass too. Let's see, Crush City cleanup crawl. I think Cole has done some work on these already. I'm not getting the hook in it. There it is. I'm not getting the hook in that fish at all. There, I finally caught it. Here's another one right before the edge of the weeds. And that bait is absolutely choked. I've got a bunch of different baits. As you saw, if you follow the Instagram account or the Facebook account, we bought a ton of different baits just to try out and see what would stick on the upgrade and what wouldn't, how many fish we could catch on each one before they tore apart. Just kind of as like a litmus test, I guess, to figure out which baits, you know, work the best with these jig heads. So, all right guys, next up is gonna be the Zoom Super Salt Plus Speedworm, and this is in Watermelon Candy Red. I don't know about y'all, but down here in the South, guys love throwing this thing, and they have great success with it. Most people that I know throw it on a 1/4 ounce, you know, 1/4 ounce, 3/8 ounce Texas rig. So it's more of a weedless presentation when you do that, for sure. I got it to stay on this jig head, but I gotta tell you, it is super soft. I don't think I'm gonna get but maybe 1 or 2 bites out of this thing before fish destroy it. That's kind of the common theme though, for these Zoom baits. I can throw it on a Texas rig and that's about all I get out of it too. Holy smokes, this thing looks dynamite. Be awesome if Z-Man would come out, or Crush City would come out with a worm that's like a speed. Oh shit, there he is. Oh, he smoked it. It's a good bass too. On the bottom, that's probably a 3.5 or a 4 pounder, guys. In this little pond, that's about as big as they get. He's not 4, but oh, he's all chewed up and nasty. There it is, speed worm. He's got sores out of his body, and the upgrade jig gets it done. Pinned him right in the corner of the mouth too. Hey, and look at that, the worm is not destroyed. All right guys, there you have it. First fish on the speed worm. He's not even gonna make it 3. I thought he was a 3 pounder, but he's got a giant mouth, just skinny body. He smoked the speed worm, and much to my surprise, that bait has not moved and it has not ripped out. All right, let's see. Let's stay with the swim baits now and go to the Keitech Swing Impact. I have fished these, something similar anyway. Haven't fished this particular style, the Swing Impact style, but I have fished Keitech baits on my jig heads. They don't go anywhere. They're great. Actually, what ends up happening is the fish will bite these tails off because there's such a thin piece of plastic right there at the tail. So that's what typically happens, is the bass will bite these off. I haven't seen a great swim bait bite yet in South Carolina. I know some guys are catching them on swim baits, but most everything has still been on like the jerk shad, or like the last bait that I threw that has more of a straight tail. So putting this on, 1/4 ounce head again. This is not the 1/8 ounce, this is a 1/4 ounce. There's that big bass swimming right there. Let's see if I can get her to respond. It looks like a big female. Might need to throw a crawl down there. See if I can get her to respond to the Keitech swim bait. Once again, this thing is a killer. It's rotating like crazy. It looks so awesome. It almost looks snake-like. The top of the body and the back of the body go like this while it's rotating from side to side. One thing that I like to do with these Keitechs this time of the year is reel 3 or 4 reels and then kill it. Reel 3 or 4 reels and then kill it. And a lot of times when you stop and pause and let that bait nosedive, that's what gets the reaction. That's what gets the fish to really take it. Once again, it's all a depth and speed thing. Let's make a cast out here. Sometimes I catch them out in this blue water open area. Yeah, that's a big female right there. I think she's trying to push up onto a bed or something. She keeps cruising back and forth. probably a 4.5, 5 pounder. I know you guys can't see that because it's not a polarized GoPro, but definitely a big fish there. The line will jump and you won't ever feel the fish bite while it's sinking, but you'll see the line go slack or the line will get tight, and oh, there was a bite right there, and you'll know that a fish has just hit the bait. So I like fishing high vis. Plus, when I was guiding, it was a lot easier to use high vis with a bunch of clients on the boat because you could see that fish spun me up. That does happen a lot with these Keitech baits, tail hooking. Once again, when I was fishing a lot of charter clients in saltwater, it'd be a lot easier to fish high vis line because I could see where everybody was casting and I could see where their line was in reference to the fish that they were reeling in or whatnot. All right, let's keep this thing moving. I love these Keitech baits on my jig heads. They work great. Obviously y'all have had tons of success with them. So let's go on to the next thing. C, Crush City Cleanup Crawl. I think Cole has done some work on these already on his pond, but I have not fished this bait yet. I know right now on the pond that I'm at, the crawfish pattern is really good. This pond that I'm on right now has a ton of crawfish, and so one of the biggest things that bass are eating right now is crawfish. And this bait in particular, I can do two things. On dawn or at dusk, I can run this bait on a 1/4, 3/8, 1/8 ounce, whatever ounce you want, up in the shallows. And if it's a crawl that has some sort of kick to the tail, you can run that as like a shallow water reaction bite, or a shallow water, you know, let's try to figure out if there's a fish in the area bite. And it works great for that. The other thing that you can do with this, it works great as a fish finder, especially with these paddling tails that'll really thump. It works almost like a chatterbait. But the cool thing about this is, if you get a fish to swirl on this, or you feel a bite and you don't get them to commit, you can pitch this bait in, throw it right in where you were just at, and you can slow walk it. You don't have to pick up another rod. And you can slow walk it. The bait stands perfectly straight up, and I just have a lot of confidence in this style of bait right around the spawn. You can sling this thing out, you can fish it deep water, you can burn it shallow. If you get a fish to roll on it, you can, there was a bite, oh, I missed him. If you get a fish to roll on it, you can pitch this bait right back out and let it sit right in front of them and just twitch it real soft and slow. And that fish will circle right back around and scoop it right off the bottom. I see a bed over here as well. And if you do work this bait on the bottom, I really encourage you to use high vis line for something like this too. You can tight line, you can keep the line tight, you can visually see where the line is, and you can see any ticks on that line well in advance before you feel them. Even fishing braid, I'm a very big believer in high vis line. I almost always put a leader on high vis, but put a 6 or 8 foot leader on. I've had no problems fishing high vis and catching tons and tons of fish. Oh shit, there was a fish right there. I was just getting ready to burn it in, and look what happened. He smoked it. He actually pulled this bait off and ripped it in half. So there goes that. The Crush City Crawl, one really hard bite, and donezo. That's not a huge confidence thing for me. Let's try putting one more on. See if we can get a fish to bite. I mean, the Crush City Crawl works great, don't get me wrong, but I was just burning that bait back in to try to get it in, and that fish smoked me and ripped the crawl completely off. They do feel a little bit soft when I put my hook keep. I'm not getting the hook in it. There it is. I'm not getting the hook in that fish at all. There, I finally caught it. That's the same fish that hit me both times. And he just flipped off the other crawl. It's floating in the water. All right, guys, so there you have it. There's my review of the Crush City Crawl. This thing works great, but I can honestly tell you that the Z-Man baits hold up way longer than these do. So there's the Crush City Crawl. There's nothing left. I don't really care for these a whole lot, to be honest, guys. I'm glad that they stand up on the bottom, but the Z-Man baits that I've gotten have a lot more Elastec in them than these, and they don't give out after one fish. There's one. Oh man, fish love these speedworms. I mean, I understand why so many people down here in the south use them now. It's just something different about them. That's the first cast, and look at that, another 2-pounder, 2.5 pounder. The bait's not off either. That's what's killing me. I thought it would tear in half, but it's not. There's another gorgeous fish, you know, with the speedworm. All right, guys, I'm gonna let this one go another 2-pounder or so. He's going back into the pond, and there he goes. That's the second fish in 2 casts with the speedworm. I gotta tell you, I thought that the Zoom speedworm was gonna fall apart after one fish, and now I've caught 3 bass on it. It hasn't moved. Has stayed pinned on my jig head, and I really like this thing. Just something about that little bit of, oh shit, there was another one. I missed that one. I think the worm came off that time too, actually. Let's see. Yep, so that's what I was expecting this worm to do from the jump. Get ripped off. Not only did they rip the tail off, but they ripped the worm off. So, you know, I made it through 2-3 fish. Let's, I'm gonna show you how I rigged this thing, because I'm gonna throw a couple more times before I need to get out of here. Okay, so here's the Zoom. I've got the water candy red. For you guys that care about color, I like the green and the red colors in the early spring of the year. I like black and blue in the fall of the year, but I honestly really don't care. So I'm gonna thread this thing on about as center as possible. I'm gonna try to get it to the point to where I'm taking the hook out above the top of the speedworm. So I thread it in there. Try to keep the hook about as center as possible. It's really hard to do with this because there's not a lot of material here. But then thread it on. It's not gonna look perfect, but it really doesn't matter. I'm getting bit on this every single time, and this worm looks great, and it's got a little bit of a kick to it. So let's try one more cast. I'm gonna bomb it way out in the middle. There's another one right before the edge of the weeds. That's another nice bass, guys. Another 2-pounder. And that bait is absolutely choked. Wow. Chill out, dude. There you go, guys. I mean, he swallowed that thing. The hook is perfect. You know, maybe 1.5 pound fish. It ain't a 2-pounder. But there you go. I was a doubter of the Zoom speedworm and its ability to work with my jig heads, and it looks like it's a great marriage. I'm having 0 issues with it. You can see the worm's kind of trash. There's some holes there from the hook keeper, but it's still pinned on there. That's 2 fish with the worm. You may even have more. You may even be catching more fish on these Zoom speedworms with my jig head than you would a regular jig head, or a regular hook. These things have performed really well. All right guys, that's the time for today. I've been out here for 20-25 minutes. I tried all different kinds of baits. I couldn't stop with the speedworm. I don't know what it is about those right now, but pre-spawn down here in the south, this thing's a killer. I caught fish on several different baits though, to be honest. The speedworm, I gotta tell you, I thought this thing was gonna be trash. I literally told all my buddies, like, I'm gonna throw this and it's just gonna get sawed in half every single time because my hook keeper's too aggressive for it, and the body of the worm's just too narrow. To my surprise, I was able to catch 2 to 3 fish per worm, maybe even more, on the speedworm. I had a blast today. I hope you guys learned something about different baits that you can be throwing on the upgrade. And you know, come visit our store, check things out. I love working with other fishermen and people that run their own guide service, so give me a call, shoot me a message. We just installed a bunch of new features on the Shopify site, so I have the ability to add influencers now and track what they're doing. I've got the ability to chat with people if you have specific questions, and I'm just a one-man show, so I am trying to get all this stuff done. I have a very limited budget, and I'm having great success, and I know that the guys that are fishing this have truly felt like the upgrade is something that's been great for them to have in their arsenal. So the feedback's been great, the catches have been great. I'd love to keep expanding this thing, and with your help I can do that. So hey, thanks so much. Don't be scared of the Zoom speedworm. Throw it on a 1/4 ounce, throw it on an 1/8 ounce, 3/8 ounce. It gets the job done.